Welcome to the MBL Rookie Draft. Today we'll see teams select franchise players who will forever change the culture of the team while having immediate success. While some teams will weigh risk versus reward, banking on a player's potential to develop. Some players will go on to be champions, Hall of Famers. Even though they were drafted in later rounds, their success won't be denied. You are witnessing the leader in full immersion gaming, the Madden Bomber League. So join our journey today. Go to 365.maddenbomberleague.com and take your chance to become a legend and forever be remembered like Lucky Jordan, Asa Sharar, because legends never die. And you're watching the MBL Network.
Yes, indeed, we are live here on a Madden Live special. It's the MBL Season 42 Rookie Draft, a night that everyone looks forward to. Everybody looking forward to maybe finding the player that turns them from a perennial top 10 pick to a Super Bowl contender. We are so happy to have you along with us. I'm Nick Mazzesko, your MBL Network Director. Joining me, as always, is the Commissioner of the MBL. It is Bomber. A couple things before we get started. Yes, the drops are active. Yes, we do have giveaways tonight. We're going to be giving away one of those 93 overall Troy Polamalu Mutt 10 cards, which looks absolutely phenomenal. And then one of the most feared Dante Hall cards. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll be on from 7 to 9. Drops are active. And Bomber, what's going on, man? Another rookie draft, season 42. This is an interesting... These drafts get a little more interesting each and every year because we got rid of our trade restrictions. You're seeing a lot of movement in the drafts, a lot of people building through some trades, which puts you get to see the philosophies of these teams, whether they want to build from maybe acquiring pieces to guys like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2 picks in the top 3 who want to build through the draft.
Yeah, you're looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. They got pick 1 and pick 3. One they earned and one they traded for, and we'll let you be the guest. They're sitting at 1 and 15. We call them I-15 in the MBL. And yeah, they've been able to maneuver some picks their way, sitting at the 3rd overall pick and the 1st overall pick. I think that's the first time we've seen that happen in MBL history. So excited to see how the rebuilding process for Tampa Bay goes. And we also have a little bit of a rumor kind of floating around there that Tampa's going to be making a move after this draft involving a trade with the Indianapolis Colts for Andrew Luck. So I don't expect Tampa to go quarterback at pick 1 and 3.
Lots of rumors to get to. If it's your first time joining us, first of all, we appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're here just for the drops and the giveaways. We appreciate you spending time with the MBL Network. We are a full 32-man franchise mode, so every single pick you see tonight is made by users and their own teams. This is season 3 of our Madden 20 cycle. We are going into defending champion, the Carolina Panthers, who you'll notice Bomber had one of just one of the worst trades we've ever seen. Will Grier from the Cincinnati Bengals to the Carolina Panthers. It worked out great for the Panthers. They end up with the number 2 overall pick. Didn't work out great for the Bengals.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers won a Super Bowl this year, and they were also able to finesse Will Grier onto the Cincinnati Bengals. And they received their 1st-round pick, the Bengals pick that is, which ends up being 2nd overall. And we knew this was going to be a bad trade going into the season when we heard Will Grier's going for a 1st-round pick to just a prolific loser in the MBL, the Cincinnati Bengals franchise. And it ended up being worse than we all thought. I mean, 2nd overall to a team that just won the Super Bowl. I expect them to shore up their offensive line with this pick and just kind of protect the blind side of Cam Newton and try to extend and go back-to-back here in MBL Season 42.
Well, why don't you hit that little ready button? We can get this bad boy underway. We'll be with you until 9 o'clock Eastern time. So, yeah, we got full analysis. We got some graphics to show you from our Draft Pros team. Big shout out to Jane with those graphics. Big shout out to Darts Knight making a lot of this possible. Bomber, why don't we get started with that team that's sitting there at number 1? And let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 and 15 in season 41. Just a rough year, but they were active in free agency. They pick up Sammy Watkins, who the Kansas City Chiefs decided not to resign. They pick up Marlon Mack, and they pick up Alex Mack at center. They're really thinking that they can make a move in the NFC South.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a team spending a lot of money to try to win now. As we talk about departures, they lost Mike Evans, but now they've been able to finesse these 2 picks at 1 and 3, maybe a replacement for Mike Evans in one of these picks as well. But yeah, they bring in Justin Reed. They've done a lot of work on the defensive side, the offensive line side. I think that trend continues today. If they do bring in Andrew Luck, They're going to try to probably solidify the line with this pick number 1, and then maybe give them a weapon on the offensive side of the ball. They have brought in Sammy Watkins, as you said, but I still think they need another wide receiver weapon at 3.
Paratrooper 21, big shout out for the tier 1 sub. M. Pickett asking, do you upload to YouTube? Yes, all of our MBL Live broadcasts are archived on YouTube, as well as we have a lot of original programming over there, including the Commissioner Corner podcast. So check it out, youtube.com/Madden Bomber League, as the pick is in. And not a surprise, they go left tackle DAVANTE DUBOSE. Bomber, this was a name as we look at the Draft Pros top 5 offensive linemen. Is somewhere around here. There it is. Listed at number 2 by the Draft Pros, but really between PJ Wagner and DUBOSE, it was you could really take a coin flip.
Yeah, I think we're going to get the coin flip because Wagner is going to go number 2 here.
And overall wise, DUBOSE was actually number 1, 77 overall for DUBOSE, 75 for Wagner.
Yeah, that's a nice pick there for Tampa. Both of these teams, I said, well, you got one wants to protect their Cam Newton. That's their investment. They're trying to string together another Super Bowl. They've been dominant with CMC. They have to get some run blocking. So Carolina goes with BJ Wagner out of Florida. Shout out to my man Brad. He'll probably give you a first and his firstborn for that one. And first overall, you get the left tackle to protect the blind side of potentially Andrew Luck might be coming to Tampa. So that's a little news rumor we just kind of breaking here on this MBL Season 42 rookie draft.
The other thing that we have going on tonight, guys, is we will be, as these picks come in, our owners are sending screenshots to us, so we're going to be able to actually take a deep dive look at each of these players. If you're out there and you're in the league, make sure you send us both that front page as well as the first ratings page so we can get both the vitals and your ratings. So we'll be able to take a deep dive look at these players. So 1-2, offensive lineman, PJ Wagner to the Carolina Panthers, and then we go back to Tampa Bay at pick number 3. They go outside linebacker with Marcus Cherry. Bomber, how, for a team that went 1-15, the talent they brought in free agency, they bring in Sammy Watkins, they bring in Alex Mack, they bring in Marlon Mack, now with 2 top 3 picks, there's got to be some high expectations for Tampa to turn this thing around.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcus Cherry is going to be kind of, if you will, the cherry on top here for Tampa. Not only do they shore up their offensive line, they get the blind side with the left tackle. They're going to bring in this outside linebacker who I really like from the Fighting Irish. He can do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. He doesn't jump off the screen at you, but he's one of those guys, if you develop him, I think he's going to be able to be, not just a pass rusher, but a coverage guy. I think he's a do-it-all kind of outside linebacker that's going to really help this team. As you said, they brought in Justin Reed. Now they're shoring up their offensive line. Marcus Cherry is a nice complement to the movement in Tampa, trying to build and rebuild this franchise. What was the Draft Pro comparison on Marcus Cherry?
Let's take a look at Marcus Cherry right now. He's only 21 years old, 6'1", 238, projected a first mid, but he's a pass coverage linebacker, which Tampa was looking for to go alongside Quan Alexander.
Yeah.
A- pursuit, B+ tackle, B+ awareness, 4.68 40. Pro comparison, Telvin Smith. That's some high praise going to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I think this guy, when I evaluated him, I believe he can actually pass rush as well. I think he has the tools to be a blitzer as well as that coverage guy. That's why I think he's going to kind of be just an outside linebacker that's going to be really solid for this franchise. Ideally, they're hoping he can be a superstar, but I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards for Marcus Cherry as 3rd overall, but I think in the right situation, he might fool you into believing, hey, man, this guy's the real deal and can lead this franchise, and I think that's kind of the system they're setting up in Tampa Bay. He's going to be real productive for them in that 4-3.
Well, Pricey, let's that clock run all the way down. I'm not sure if you could get in. We had some EA problems today. So he gets Emmanuel Melvin. That's a pretty good one. Let's take a look at those Oakland Raiders. They had a fascinating offseason, 3-13 last year. They bring in Jared Goff to helm as they trade away Derek Carr. They bring in Julio Jones. And then they bring in Jelani Tavai from the Detroit Lions in a move that involved Antonio Brown going the other way. So a lot of pieces going out. They're bringing a lot of pieces in. Bomber, between the trade of Derek Carr and the trade of Antonio Brown, did the Oakland Raiders make the right moves, especially with their pick here at number 4?
I don't know, man. I mean, they just drafted. I mean, you look at their lineup, their roster so far. You're talking about Hudson Talley, who they selected last year at the front. So maybe they're just trying to shore up that front line. And that might be a good pick. I mean, 76 overall, not a bad player at the right end position. As you see, the Colts going to go left end here with Henry Scroggins. Got to love that name.
Good name.
But
here's a look at Melvin. He's compared to Bruce Smith, 21 years old, 6'4",
wow,
255, A- power move, 29 bench press, 449 shuttle. This is a quick, powerful guy. Our pros saying he is a superior hand grappler who can control the wrists and forearms of his opponents. Listen. The Oakland Raiders are never going to be this team that is going to be an offensive powerhouse. They need their defense to force pressure.
Yeah, but you drafted Hudson Talley, defensive end, obviously probably playing a little rush D tackle for this team. You got Clellan Ferrell out of Clemson. He's an 80 overall on your team. He's playing left end. I don't know where this guy really fits in so far at the defensive end position. But, hey, I guess that's a problem you kind of want to have, where you're kind of backed up and you have so much talent in the front end. Let's see if they can make it work and get these guys on the field.
Brad in the chat says, "Sim my pick. I'm not there."
All right.
If you say so. Dunzo. As we move forward, who'd he get?
That's who he wanted. He wanted the big wide receiver everybody talked about,
Garrison
74
Dale.
overall, Garrison Dale. Let me see the comparison for that guy. I'm interested in the pro comparison to Garrison Dale. Obviously didn't have the best combine. He was just, everybody was kind of down on him because of speed, but this is a big wide receiver.
Julio Jones comparison.
I don't know if he has the athleticism for a Julio Jones. Is that what they gave him?
That's what they said.
That's what they said.
I don't know.
Or kind of slow, not super fast, but he's physical.
4.57 40 scares me.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, is he more like a N'Keal Harry kind of receiver?
No,
Maybe
Harry's
with a little
much more athletic. As you look at what the Cincinnati Bengals did this offseason, a lot of bit pieces, bringing in Alex Anzalone, bringing in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, 3-13 last year, but just maybe a little bit of a lackluster pick, but I think one that Brad's happy with, considering he wasn't even there to click the button.
Well, Pricey says he thought the draft was at 8 too, so
cool.
These guys in the top 5, you wonder why they're there, huh?
Figured it out. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us in the chat for the Season 42 Rookie Draft as we continue onward. 70 overall corner going to the San Francisco 49ers. October can't be happy seeing that number.
Emmanuel Sands, taking a cornerback. He talked to me earlier about what position he was interested in taking. It was cornerback, offensive line, safety. He liked the strong safety on the board there. He probably wishes he could have it back. I mean, you look at this strong safety he was interested in was Jordan Whitaker out of Alabama, hard hitter. Didn't run the fastest 40 time. I think that kind of just took him away. You're going to draft somebody inside the top 7, top 6. You want to get somebody with a little bit of speeds. He gets Emmanuel Sands out of LSU. Hopefully he can get some time on the field and kind of develop that player at 70. A little disappointing.
And take a look at the 49ers. They might have had the best offensive offseason because they bring in Derek Carr, a quarterback that they really like over Jimmy Garoppolo, and Allen Robinson to be a number 1 wide receiver. And then they also shore up the offensive line. Corey Linsley, not a bad center to plug in on the offensive line. You just would like to see them maybe go offense a little more, or go defense a little more, considering this is a team that, much like the Oakland Raiders, not a very proficient offensive team. So you'd like to see those teams at the top, Bomber, really spend on defense to keep those games low scoring so they don't have to put up 40 a game.
Yeah, you want to see some impact, as he does. He goes Delroy Harvey, who I believe was the best safety in this draft. Free safety, very fast. He had a 4th-round grade is what Madden had him at, but if you actually scouted him, he had a 1st-round grade, and he had some great stories about him, as Matt Dye might be dying in Detroit as the Florida State alum quarterback.
The new quarterback
Detroit.
in
There we go.
Detroit. Well, I mean, Philadelphia getting their safety, that was one that they want to talk about. But let's go right to Detroit, because this was an interesting offseason for the Detroit Lions, filled with lies. This Lions team didn't want Matt Stafford anymore. Tried to get Sam Darnold. That trade fell through. They bring in Antonio Brown at wide receiver to go alongside their wide receiving core that they have there right now with Kenny Galladay. They bring in Taco Charlton in the offseason, but quarterback was the number 1 need for them, and they do go and get a quarterback. Will this make the Lions any better?
I don't know. I'm not really sold. This quarterback class was very shallow. I actually
and there is Matt Dye, 21 years old.
I like the Trent Oldenburg out there just because I thought Trent sounds like Clint, and developer of the game. Maybe he would be the be the guy.
How about Kansas City? They traded up into the top 10. They pick up Ron Walters at wide receiver. Boy, Kansas City is an interesting team, Bomber, because this is a team that is continuing with the battle of the cap space that's needed to sign Patrick Mahomes. And obviously they're not going to get rid of Patty Mahomes, but they've spent the last 2 seasons cutting costs. And really, their big move of the offseason was getting rid of Frank Clark, who was an absolute boon. They absolutely killing their cap space. We're able to trade him to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are very happy they get a pass rusher, but this was a guy who was making $23 million at an 84 overall. And they finally got rid of him, and they're able to get a wide receiver here in Ron Walters. You got to think Lip's really happy with how the last 3 days have gone.
Yeah, they were able to move on, and he did some phenomenal trading. He got the 17, flipped that, got the 10. So shout out to the Kansas City Chiefs. They made it to the Super Bowl, didn't quite get it done, and they're kind of retooling, reloading here. Gets Ron Walters, and this guy's got a little bit of JUI, a little bit of speed. Do they have his player comparison on the website?
Let's take a look. Yes, they do. Here you go. Ron Walters, 22 years old, out of Vanderbilt. Pro comparison is Emmanuel Sanders. A- deep route, B+.
I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is probably an underrated wide receiver. I could see that. I think he's going to get a lot more shine. This is a pass-heavy attack. They had 50-plus passing touchdowns last year to what, Nick? 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns. He's going to get a lot of opportunities, and he might look like Emmanuel Sanders in his prime very early in his career.
How about that speed, though? 4.35 40. And at 6'1", like he's not a lot of the knock on some of the wide receivers that Lip's drafted in the past. They're in that 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot range. 6'1", 198, not the biggest, but still got a little bit of juice. A- deep route running and 4.35 40. Boy, that's a lot of speed with Tyreek Hill on one side and now Ron Walters on the other.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what they're looking for. You also add in Michael Gallup, who kind of came into his own last year and became really, one of those guys we talked about in the playoffs. It might just change, like, essentially just the projection of his career. I mean, this is a guy that, he traded for, what was it, a 3rd-round pick from Dallas. You just didn't know what to expect from him, and he had a phenomenal postseason. So they get a little 3-headed monster there in Kansas City.
All right, well, I'm going to let you make your pick. Don't want you to miss that one. As we'll take a look at some more teams. Big shout out to Darce Knight putting together these graphics for our Season 42 rookie draft. I wonder if Draco ever got in. Thomas Golston. So, talk me through it. Thomas Golston, tight end, and that looks like a pretty nice offensive piece for a Houston Texans offense that really didn't need any help.
Yeah, he's got the Whistler Ridgeway face, which is the common face for receivers, tight ends, or any Madden created guy in the MBL. 84 speed, 81 excel, 80 catch in traffic, 74 awareness. Doesn't have fast dev. Got normal dev. So he's ranked number 5 in true value, and you drafted him at 13. So I'm pretty happy with the pick. We needed a tight end. Definitely somebody that we were looking at coming into this draft. One of the faster tight ends that had a pretty good amount of skill, projected to go in the 1st round. Pretty excited about what he brings to the table.
All right, you want to take a look at our first team cards of the day coming into the inbox. Let's take a look at the number 1 overall pick, DAVANTE DUBOSE to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 77 overall, 86 strength, 82 run block, 83 pass block out of the gate. This is a 82 run block finesse, 82 run block pass block finesse, 81 lead block, 78 awareness. This guy is mighty juicy, and that is a lot of great stats for a guy who can really solidify that offensive line for the rest of the cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And who was this? A BJ?
This is DAVANTE DUBOSE.
Okay, this was the number 1 pick in the NBL Season 42 rookie draft, and Tampa just goes ahead and solidifies the blind side, probably, I would assume, for Andrew Luck.
The question that is continuing to go, will they get Andrew Luck? Let me load up this other team card. Take a look at who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got with that 3rd overall pick. Outside linebacker Marcus Cherry, 75 overall, 85 speed, 86 excel at outside linebacker. Not a pass rusher, so those finesse move, power move, 6'7", 6'5" don't concern me. He's a pass coverage guy, 71 zone coverage, 80 awareness. A nice player. I'm not blown away at 75 overall for the number 3 overall pick, but it fits a need for Tampa because what they want to do is really let Quan Alexander and Marcus Cherry be those linebackers that cover in coverage and send 4 each time. They don't want to be sending 6, 7 blitzers each and every play.
No, absolutely not. This is a team that's going to be really dominant up front because they have the skill, have the talent with DUBOSE you mentioned. So, you know, I'm kind of, excuse me, with Cherry, I'm sorry, we're talking about Tampa here. I thought we were talking about the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, I think this is a team that's going to have some drop coverage with that linebacker position, and I think he's going to be a phenomenal player for them in that system. Now, did I have him ranked that high? What did he go, 3rd overall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have him that high because I'm looking outside linebacker like most are. We're looking pass rushers. But if you need a coverage guy and you have the pass rush up front, he could be, I'm telling you, he could fool you and you could start saying, man, this guy's really the difference maker of this defense.
Well, we got another card in here. This is at pick number 11, which was the Los Angeles Chargers. Ray Wells. They went out with a lineman as well. Barbara, I want you to take a look at this guy. Ray Wells, 76 overall, 92 strength at left tackle, 76 run block, 80 pass block. This is a power guy, 83 lead, 85 impact. And I see here 6'7", 325 out of the University of Michigan. The one knock on him, normal dev, but 6th in true talent, and the Chargers were able to get him at 11.
Yeah, that's that might be just a nice steal there for the Los Angeles Chargers, a team that really continues to impress me in drafts. It seems like they're really trying to build this team from the front lines, essentially inside the trenches there with the offensive line. Now the only question is what this team's going to be doing at the quarterback position. You've seen them pass on quarterbacks. You don't have Phillip Rivers there anymore. So that's been my question with the Los Angeles Chargers. Who's really going to stick for that franchise?
As the Denver Broncos just picked up a defensive end. Chargers back on the clock. Let's take a look at the Chargers. See what their offseason was. They may have found their quarterback. They really like Jimmy Garoppolo. It was a big target for them in the offseason. They get Jimmy Garoppolo, 81 overall. But really the only play to be made. This is a team 5-11. Bomber, a Chargers team that I think is hard to figure out because there are at times this Chargers team looks like a legitimate wild card contender. And then they'll lose 7 in a row. And I think a lot of people keep building this team up, especially after season 40, the first season here in Madden 20. This team was, 7-2 or something, 6-2, and then they lost out.
And Phillip Rivers was a big part of that. I mean, they signed Jimmy Garoppolo this offseason, but he's kind of an afterthought to me as San Francisco moves on from him. So you got to kind of wonder, what's the issue here? It wasn't a money thing, right? Because they had him under contract. They decided just to move on. And then you see the Chargers come in here, give him a 4-year deal worth about, $70-80 million. You gave him 56 of it guaranteed for an 81 overall Jimmy G, who's really struggled this year. So I think this team defensively, offensive line, running the ball, that's obviously their strengths. But Jimmy G's going to have to make those passes for them to get over that hump. Because like you said, they've been fooling us, right? 7-2. 6-1, 5-2. They've been above 500 half the season, and then they just collapse and fall apart. What can get them over the hump? Good quarterback play. So maybe Jimmy G brings that to the team this year. But I like their draft so far. I like them. You're noticing that a lot of guys who are bringing in new quarterbacks are kind of solidifying their offensive line.
First giveaway we're going to do is going to be that, we'll do the Dante Hall first. We'll do that at the end of the first round. We'll do that giveaway in the chat. As you take a look at Eddie Miles, what our draft pros see him at, 23 years old, 6'2", 218, 4'4", 40, A spec catch, B+ release, B+ catch in traffic, pro comparison, AJ Green. Boy, could this be a really nice wide receiver to put on the other side of Keenan Allen?
You know, I looked at this kid, and I didn't really like his 40 time. Too much. I thought that might hinder him being effective, but you've seen guys like N'Keal Harry not as essentially gifted, just as far as just end-to-end 40-yard dash, but they had the physical traits to make up for it. This guy has the agility and the ability and the great short route running. yeah, I think it'll be a nice pairing. And maybe, I don't think he'll be an AJ Green, but that's definitely some upside. These are some really, these pro draft comparisons are very friendly to these players. Maybe the agents are getting involved in these comparisons. They're trying to sell their client here.
As the Arizona Cardinals go with a tight end as well, the Minnesota Vikings going strong safety with Jaleel McKinley, 70 overall. That seems like a miss for the Vikings. But, you know, again, you get to these later picks. This is the biggest thing we've seen in Madden 20 Bombers. You know, in past Maddens, you might be able to get 77, 78. You'd be disappointed if you got a 74 late in the first round. But because rookies are a little easier to develop, and the new adjustment of rookie ratings, you're seeing much more 70, 71, 72, especially at pick 18, 19 on.
Yeah, and that's fine. And then you'll see a guy in the third round. He'll have a 69, but he'll be a 68, 69, but he'll be a superstar dev, or he'll have the hidden dev trait. So there definitely is some upside, but yeah, these are guys you definitely have to develop. And one way to quickly develop a player, just as in real life, you got to put him on the field, Nick, and you got to get that XP, and you got to kind of roll with the punches, because he's going to burn you a little bit early, but it'll be allowed to kind of just, you know, streamline his development, and that's what you're going to see in a lot of these later round picks.
Let's take a look at another team card. The second pick from the Los Angeles Chargers. We talked about Eddie Miles on the other side of Keenan Allen. 91 speed, 91 excel. Route running, a little something to be designer. 74 short, 69 mid, 75 deep. He's got 91 jump, 86 spec catch, though. 86 agility. This is a guy that seems like very red zone threat. The catch numbers I'm concerned with. 75 catching at wide receiver seems really low to me.
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of a miss there, but like you said, you get the guy on the field, and maybe you get a little Porter in him, right? You chase him a little bit, get him a dev trade increase.
The Timuchin Hodges.
Yeah, you get a +3, +4. You get close to 80 as a rookie towards the end, and you're right. You're right in striking distance there.
As the Cleveland Browns on the clock, and as I'm sure Z-Star would want me to point out, the AFC North champion Cleveland Browns, they go corner. Let's take a look at the Browns offseason. Some bit pieces brought in. Jordan Lewis, they really like at that slot corner position. Was with the Dallas Cowboys, then the Tennessee Titans. Demario Davis at outside linebacker. Ziggy Ansah at defensive end. They bring in a corner, a team bomber. You wonder, what does this say about next season? Because they have to sign Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and Denzel Ward. Is this a sign that maybe Denzel Ward might be the one of the three they don't sign? Is this just they really want to just have the best secondary with Ward, Williams, and now their rookie?
That's a good question. Right now, I think it's very cap dependent here for the Cleveland Browns. You got the rookie there, Langham. You got to wonder how he's going to play for this team. But I think this team is really struck with cap right now, and that's dictating how they're drafting right now. Maybe they're looking at a replacement there if they're not able to sign those corners long term and keep that secondary together, because you still got the Baker Mayfield contract coming up this year.
Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. It's the season 42 MBL Rookie Draft. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock. Drops are active, and we got 2 giveaways due. The first one we'll do at the end of the first round. It's going to be that Dante Hall. We also have the Mutt 10 Troy Polamalu to give away. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Whether you are here just for the drops of the giveaways or whether you're checking out the franchise action, we appreciate the support. I'm Nick Mazesco, your MBL Network Director. Joining me, as always, is the Commissioner of the MBL, Monkey Bite in the chat, who won one of our giveaways during the most feared weekend. Asked, are there pick trades? Yes. And Bomber, this was a very active season. We saw a lot of teams hoarding picks because I think a lot of people saw a lot of promise in this season 42 draft board.
Yeah, you saw guys moving up. Are there pick trades? Yeah, you saw Kansas City trade Frank Clark and move to 17. Then they paired up that 17th overall pick with another player, and they ended up moving to 10th, and they selected a wide receiver at that position to pair next to Tyreek Hill, and also added to Michael Gallup with the loss of Sammy Watkins. So you're seeing a lot of picks come into play here, and pick-for-pick trades have been a staple in the NBL for a while, but now it's a lot more meaning.
Well, before we get to my pick and two, let's take a look at the quarterback that the Detroit Lions selected. They were hoping this is going to be their quarterback of the future. We have Matt Dye, 32 in true talent, so a little bit of a reach. 87 throw power, 79 deep, 80 mid, 85 short. Seems like a quarterback that doesn't fit the Detroit Lions, because this is a team that wants to stretch the field. They really like what they have with Kenny Golladay down the field. They really like what Antonio Brown has. And this is a guy who 79 deep accuracy sure is good, but it definitely leans more towards the West Coast short accuracy. And you get concerned about that 77 throw under pressure, 70 break sack. Does this guy seem to fit in Detroit, or do they just get a slightly, I don't want to say less talented, but less seasoned Matt Stafford?
I think Mitch Trubisky's going to be starting, but I completely agree. You take a guy that early and you get a less seasoned Matt Stafford. What was his throw power, his quarterback?
87.
That's a Matt Stafford with no seasoning on it. I mean, that's pretty much
bland,
what Matt Stafford.
Bland
Yeah.
Matt Stafford.
That's what
Not
Matt
even
Stafford
salt and pepper
brings to the table is the ability to drive the ball into tight coverages and trust his strong arm and make those kind of throws. Oh man, Matt Dye. I think it's going to be Mitch Trubisky season. I think once again, swing and a miss for the Detroit Lions.
As we move through the end of the first round, it's going to get a little weird here because we got your pick and then my pick. But let's take a look at the Atlanta Falcons. This is who's on the clock right now. 13-3 last year, fell short with a loss to the Carolina Panthers in the divisional round. Not a whole lot of offseason moves. They know they have a lot of contracts coming up, but our draft pro is saying defensive end, and they go corner with DeMarcus Drew.
Surprising. I had a guy on the board. I thought for sure he was going to undercut me and take. He didn't take him. So I got to go with this kid. I got to go with this kid.
You're gonna go take him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Alfonso Levy. Bomber, I'm gonna pull up the card on him while I make my pick. Oh, let me find him. He's left end.
I don't know if he's even on the thing. He's done.
Yeah,
He's on the block.
Oh, he's already done. All right, well, that sucks. Here you go, Alfonso Levy out of UCF. What are you seeing him? Is this a guy you're happy to get there? At
I guess he's got I guess he got a hit in dev. I got my first hit in dev.
Proud of you.
It gave me some strength thing. I don't know. It said I unlocked draft stud. Yeah, he's got a hit in dev, speed rusher, 6'4", 242 pounds. Not super quick yet, but 82 finesse move with 83 speed, 80 excel, 81 agility. You're talking about a guy 242, 6'4". We like speed rushers here in Houston. So hopefully he can bring it to the table. 74 play rec. With only 67 block sheds, so I'm gonna have to get that up. 67 awareness, gonna get that up for the 23-year-old out of UCF. Shout out to my man, Tout in the building. He's gonna be a grad alum from UCF coming up very soon. He's the owner of the Arizona Cardinals, and you'll be able to see his picture actually on MaddenBomberLeague.com because everybody in that division somehow messed up and allowed that guy to get himself a division banner.
Hold on, I'm still making my pick.
OSU's live on the clock right now. What's going through your head right now? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I've got a trade in the works that's going to be going down right after this draft that's changing what I'm doing.
So you're thinking ahead here.
Yes, sir. All right, we made our pick.
Oh, it means OSU's probably trading a lineman. What's the trade we got going on here after the draft?
After the draft, the
70 overall lineman, not bad. I've developed guys from 68, got them all the way to 75, 76. So
86 strength, 76 run block, 71 pass block.
That's right there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a starter on my team right now.
He is not too bad. The trade that is going down, we'll be sending after this draft. We are sending Travis Frederick to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for
you found a way to make that work, huh?
Jarrell Casey and a first-round pick.
Oh, so the future, yeah, because it's not future
anymore. And it wasn't dependent anyway. Again, the future rule was to stop a lot of trading back. It was just a future pick anyway, so now it's just the current pick. Aha!
I once lost my futures for 3 seasons because I did it too early, and I should have just waited till after the draft. But I wanted to make sure all my ducks were in the row during, during free agency.
Yeah.
And I did it. I told October, I was like, man, I should have just waited till it wasn't a future. Now I can't trade futures. Shout out to my man, Project Fat.
What's up, D-Train? Going on in the chat. That's what we're doing. So that offensive lineman will plug right on in. Not where Travis Frederick is. We're going to move Zach Martin over to play center, and then he'll plug in where Zach Martin was. Yeah. We continue onwards. Let me set up this giveaway because we're gonna give away that Dante Hall Most Feared card, and this card looks really, really good. So let me know in the chat. Let me know who's excited for that Dante Hall. We'll give away that Troy Polamalu in the second hour. Pop Superstar, how many rounds is this? The entire draft is a full 7-round draft, but we'll be on until 9 o'clock as far as we get. My guess is, what do you think? Probably we'll get beginning of the 4th round.
Yeah, probably around there.
AW Cody says, all 200 wins complete for me. Good for you. That is a grind, man. That's the part about Ultimate Team, I think, being in the franchise realm that I think we're learning as we spend a little more time with Ultimate Team, is how much respect is there for the guys who grind those solos, because the solos and the like the Most Feared and the house rules, you need 100 wins. I mean, that is a lot of time spent to get some of these players.
Yeah, I just buy mine as the best that I can, but even so, you're limited to there's just some guys that you really want that you don't pull, and grinding is a really easy way to, not an easy way, a very tough way to get what you want, but it's much more direct, right? And a lot of those opportunities, especially with the new Most Feared programs, you got the MUT Heroes. There was one for Brandon Cooks that Porter did. So I actually got Porter's card. I really guilted him into giving me that Cooks card because we play squads. I play the offense, he plays the defense, and he had that Cooks card sitting on his team, and I found out because we got into the load up screen, right, Nick? And I'm like, yo, why you got that card? What you doing? He's like, I need it for solos, and I'm like, no. I'm already been the bankroll over here. I'm gonna need that guy because I was actually looking for that Cooks card. I was gonna buy it, and then I found out how he actually grinded it because I went into one of the challenges, and I was like, man, you did all that for that card? Man, I felt bad, but then still took it, though. It's a lot of work. Grinding solos is definitely kind of like how we grind and lab in franchise mode, right? And we put all that hours towards trying to, build our team, figure out our players. You're doing it to get these cards to plug into your lineup as well. So it's kind of similar in that regard.
Pop Superstar says, how long does it take you to get through a season? What do we say, 45 days?
45 yeah, 40 to 45 days, real lifetime. Usually we do about 7 seasons per Madden cycle. This is our 6th Madden series right here, and we're on season 42. The last 4 we do 7. 7's about our cap. We run at about that pace, 7 seasons per cycle.
Entrepreneur asking for a first round draft recap. If we could, we would. What we will do is we're going to keep going through the draft cards that get sent in by our users, so you'll be able to see a lot of the picks that get made, and we'll keep going through those team cards and those the draft prediction cards. So you'll get a nice snippet of the first round. But unfortunately, we've got a lot of people on the show, but we don't have somebody doing the full first round draft repack. That is one of the things, Mama, that I missed from Madden 19 is you can't go back and look at all the picks from the round before.
Yeah, I wish we could kind of scroll back, or at least at the top have some kind of it just layout in which we can just scroll back and just see the player and their overall, maybe with their picture and their position, right? Even that simplicity of a thing would be kind of cool to see, kind of jog our memory on some of this stuff that we're we know about these players.
Let's see what screenshots we have sent in. And if you're in the MBL, please send me your screenshots because we want to see as many of these players as we can to maddenbomberleague@gmail.com. We're going to take a look at Delroy Harvey, the safety that the Eagles
I like this guy. Is he superstar dev?
He is.
I mean, he should be hidden.
He is normal dev.
Wow, I saw a story on him that was really, I think it was positive. I believe it was positive. That's surprising to me. I thought he was going to be.
Here he is, Delroy Harvey at free safety, 93 speed, 75 zone coverage, 77 pursuit, 57 play rec, 54 block shed, 87 excel. So 93, 87, nice physical attributes for Delroy Harvey. 75 zone certainly can boost that. You do get concerned about
good size, 6'3" as well.
You do get concerned about 57 play rec though.
Yeah, that's gonna be. You look at a number like 57 on play rec, you just initially start thinking, that's going to take what? How long did it take for me to get him to 70? Probably 2.5 seasons, 2 seasons.
Right.
It's not easy getting the play rec. Even more than that, he might just always be kind of a slow play rec kind of guy.
All right, let's draw that Dante Hall. as everyone is excited for it. We're rolling it. E-Ball Stars 89. Reminder, all you got to do to win these giveaways, you just got to be active in the chat so Nightbot can populate you, and you just need to be following the channel. E-Ball Stars 89. Congratulations. You got that Dante Hall. Check your whispers. I'm sending you one right now from our MBL Network account. You get that Dante Hall card. And you have five minutes to claim. All right, it is set. He's got 5 minutes to claim. Big congrats to E-Ball Stars as we move into the second round of the draft. Continue to look through some of these teams, the off seasons they have. Barbara, let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. This is a team that a lot of people thought had a stranglehold on the division. Some people were even saying this team's going to win every single division title this cycle. Well, the Cleveland Browns were able to beat them twice this season. Ravens at 11-5, still made the playoffs, and eventually got the better of the Cleveland Browns in the wild card round. But this is a team that defense was a major sticking point. They couldn't stop a nosebleed, and yet it gets even more interesting when you look at what they did in free agency. They bring in Lamar Miller, Jake Butt, and Chris Conley. So they're really adding more offensive pieces. Are you surprised to see Baltimore so aggressive to improve the offensive side of the ball when Z, on his own accord, has said over and over defense is the problem in Baltimore?
I think they just want to be able to put up points. You have a talent like Lamar Jackson who can use his legs to extend plays. You need receivers that can use their legs to help extend the plays as well. I think with the loss at the wide receiver position, you see Willie Snead obviously regressing at this point. We've heard his name shopped around. He lost 13 attributes from acceleration, short route running, deep route running, catching traffic, agility. So he's a declining player. They're trying to fill that void. Why? Because they used Willie Snead very effectively during his tenure here in the first two seasons of Madden 20 with the Baltimore Ravens. So I think, yeah, Miles Boykin, Marquise Brown, Chris Conley, that's a good start, but you're an injury away. You're going to bring in a little bit more youth here, and I like it. Chris Conley's not going to be there, for the whole site. He's 28 years old. He's going to start hitting regression at some point. He was a big pickup for them. They like his size and his speed, but I think it's pretty much Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin, and now, trying to sure end that wide receiver position. So, yeah, I think the defense needs to improve, and they need to take a look at it. But right now, they got an opportunity to bring in some skill guys, and they're going to do it.
All right, let's take a look. This is going to be a little, we'll go down the story. Let's start out, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals, who had the 21st overall pick, 9-7 last season, and Bomber, very good season for the Cardinals. We saw a lot of growth from Kyler Murray. And in the offseason, they bring in Damian Williams at halfback. They bring in, to sort of spell the halfback position, they bring in Cravon LeBlanc. They bring in Matt Milano. But this is a Cardinals team that wanted to shore up the offensive side of the ball, wanted to give more weapons to Kyler Murray. And they were looking at Brian Ramirez out of Stanford. And out of the box, this guy compared to Tony Gonzalez, 21 years old, 6'4", 254. So a relatively big guy, B+ catch, B catch in traffic, B spec catch. So Bomber, just looking at the grades alone, this is a guy who is not going to be sitting back there blocking in the run game. This is a guy they want to send out and sort of use in that Gronk, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates big pass catcher role.
Yeah, if you remember a couple seasons ago, the Arizona Cardinals traded the Cincinnati Bengals for Tyler Eifert. He was pretty productive on this team, had some good years with them, and made them kind of realize, hey, giving a safety blanket or somebody over the middle that Kyler Murray can kind of hit and they can hold onto the ball is a positive thing. I mean, Kyler Murray's sitting 87 overall, superstar development at this point, 91 short, 91 mid, 83 deep. Those are his accuracies. And, you need somebody over the middle of the field. You got a lot of speedsters at that wide receiver position with Christian Kirk and Andy Isabella. Now you got to bring in that tight end and kind of tie it all together. Last year, Tyler Eifert at that position, 50 catches, 862, 6 touchdowns. If they can bring in a rookie that can kind of maybe even do just 70%, 80% of that is rookie year. That's going to be a win for this team, and they're trying to get back to the playoffs.
And here's a look at Brian Ramirez. 82 speed, 79 catching. He's a 76 overall, 77 awareness. As you can see, block numbers, not great, but that's not what he's used for. He's 82 speed, 87 excel at the tight end position, 75 catch in traffic, 76 break tackle. Bomber, this is sort of what they were looking at. Relatively quick.
What's the overall on that guy?
76.
So same overall as the guy I drafted in the first. He said I took the guy before that he wanted. So very kind of similar numbers, maybe a little bit more athleticism for this guy as far as excel goes. Thomas Golston, the guy I took out of Oregon State, 84 speed, 81 excel. He gets 76 overall as well. So these are two very similar tight ends that I think are going to be productive starters for both of these teams.
As we continue through there into the second round, Barber, let's take a second to talk about what we got going on the network. Starting off with the big reveal of what we're doing.
Do we got that video we can play? If you
let me
pull
see.
up YouTube?
I think I can pull up YouTube.
You want me to link you to it, or?
I got it. Oh, no.
Novice, and my apologies.
All right, let's take a look at what we got going on here. I think it's this one.
You've never seen Rocky.
Yes, that's not a typo. For the first time, Building the Franchise is going to be featuring an entire division in Bomber, one that I might say maybe the most interesting division in the MBL. You've got two teams that, well, again, the Carolina Panthers, defending Super Bowl champions, the Atlanta Falcons, cringe a Super Bowl winner looking to get his first title here in Madden 20. You've got the New Orleans Saints, a very talented team, looking to build that team up as they move around some pieces. And then, of course, I mean, this is a division that is dominated sort of by those three teams. I mean, wouldn't you say? Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans. That's sort of the top three, right?
Are we leaving the Falcons out here, or?
No, I mean, no, the Falcons. You got Carolina. You've got the New Orleans Saints, and then there's also Tampa Bay. I'm saying those three sort of control it, and then there's Tampa, who's also in the division and technically plays football.
Yeah, and
but they've got two of the top three picks.
And here's the thinking that we got. We'll get to cover some of the first overall pick, the left tackle, see how he does protecting the blind side of maybe, potentially, Andrew Luck here from the Indianapolis Colts, as we expect them to finalize a deal at the end of this draft. But also, we'll get to cover these teams early on, and then as the season progresses, Nick, we'll get to follow the team that's rocking and rolling right into the playoffs.
CJ Lloyd wins the Hall giveaway. We already gave away the Dante Hall, but we got the Troy Polamalu giveaway coming up in the second hour. And I think one of the unique things about Building Franchise, if you haven't checked it out, you can check it out on our YouTube, youtube.com/MaddenBomberLeague. There are a lot of those episodes there. It's going to give a lot of opportunities for BTF to be live here on Twitch with 4 teams. That's a lot of games. And especially as, you know, I'm out of town with the clubs, it's going to be an opportunity to showcase a lot of MBL games outside of MBL Live.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get a lot of action here early on, covering all 4 teams in the NFC South. We're talking Saints, Falcons, Panthers, the defending Super Bowl champion, the Falcons, who have been to a Super Bowl already. So 2 teams in this division have already been to the Super Bowl. You got Tampa, who had the number 1 pick and the number 3 pick this season. And you got the New Orleans Saints, who have Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. They just traded Marcus Davenport. So they got a lot of draft picks as well that they're trying to bring into the fold. So it should be an exciting time. A lot of storylines there in the NFC South.
Everyone in the chat, appreciate you guys hanging out with us for our MBL Season 42 Rookie Draft. We are working through round number 2. We're going to be with you until 8 o'clock Eastern time, excuse me, 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central, with continued coverage of the draft. We're going to have drops active in the chat until 9 o'clock Eastern time. And we got one more giveaway. We got that Troy Polamalu Mutt 10 card, so a lot to go here. Make sure you hit that follow button so you know each and every time we go live here on the MBL Network, because we have a ton of stuff coming up over the next couple of seasons. With, of course, the new building the franchise. We just talked about that. With MBL Live and with the Commissioner Corner podcast. So much going on right here. Twitch.tv/MBL Network. Hit that follow button so you know each and every time we go live. All right, we're heading towards the end of the first hour, Bomber. Takeaways from this draft so far. Things I've seen in the chat. A lot of people saying, especially in the MBL, saying this is one of the most talented drafts they've seen. Sample size a little low, Bomber, because we've only had one rookie draft, but that's most
like
talented.
We're not trying to trade our futures every year. Well,
for the 2 years that we tried to trade him.
Yeah. Hey, what was that thing Eric G was doing with that sound? You remember? I forget.
Oh, the bum bum dum bum 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 bum. Bum 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 dum bum.
Yeah,
bum,
it seems like, but you know what? You see the Redskins right there draft the 54 overall. I saw a first round pick from somebody draft the 50 overall halfback. I think it was Dubes in the Buffalo Bills. Did you see that pick?
I heard he was gonna pick that guy.
Why? Oh, was it a penalty or something?
I don't know. I didn't think so. I think he's just dumb. Dpart816 says, miss you on Friday Night Football. The other guys are great, but it's more exciting with you calling it. I appreciate that, Dpart. I'll be back on Friday Night Football end of the month, but this month is dominated by the clubs, so make sure you check those out on Thursday and Friday nights throughout November, starting next week. A lot of action. October saying he's waiting on that super QB class. Shadow saying, I took a chance, wasn't a good one. Yeah, well, when you get a 55 overall, that chance is a little rough.
Oh, was it an isolated who draft? Oh, was that in the second round? The one we just saw, huh?
Round, yeah.
Gotcha.
I thought it was a penalty. I thought he didn't tweet or something, but no, he just willingly selected that 55 overall.
You should stop taking chances, man.
So you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Let's take a look at some more draft cards coming into the MBL inbox. Let's go to Green Bay, talk about the wide receiver they drafted in Tyrone Williams. Well, it could be worse. 73 overall, hidden dev, 88 speed, 92 excel, 92 agility. Good route running numbers, 83, 79, 77. And this is a team that is going to stretch the field with DAVANTE Adams, but Tyrone Williams really fits in that sort of slot second receiver role. 75 catching traffic is going to need to get up. 75 release concerns me, though, because when release used to be something we didn't pay a whole lot of attention to, maybe Madden 17, Madden 18, but with how good man coverage is in this game, you press up a 75 release, there are going to be some times that Tyrone Williams doesn't even get off the line.
Yeah, you got to wonder about that. That's going to be interesting to see how he deals with that. Maybe some kind of motion, send him in motion, maybe even, just drag him across the field, but anything trying to move up the field might be into some trouble there.
But he is hidden dev, which is always better than seeing that nasty little bronze patch of normal dev. Like nobody wants to see that. Porter says that wide receiver is nice. Okay. Kook saying he will put up numbers in Green Bay. I mean, it helps when you have Aaron Rodgers throwing to you. How much longer do you think Aaron Rodgers lasts? Does he last the entire cycle in Green Bay?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe, I would say MBL season 44 rookie draft, we'll be talking about him retiring. But I think 2 more seasons.
We haven't even talked about the big news from this offseason. The retirement of the GOAT, Tom Brady, no longer in New England.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, so Tyree
Jackson?
Yeah, he's going to be the starting quarterback there. They brought him in the year before. They paid him fairly well. Let's see how he pays out for them.
Don't miss your pick. Touchdown Tommy. Yeah, Tyree Jackson is what they have said that they were going for, and it seems like Tyree Jackson is who is going to be at the helm in New England, and that is a big change for a team that really relied on Tom Brady's ability to use those extra hot routes. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, you got Nick Foles too? All right, well, there you go. Maybe Nick Foles will start. I have a feeling it's going to be Tyree Jackson. And the one thing that didn't change in New England was that defense with Stephon Gilmore. That is what the team's going to be led by no matter what. Still got plenty of weapons on offense. It's just going to be, how much does this Patriots team take a step back next year? See, we're fencing Brady's a cheater. We all agree here. The entire MBL agrees that Motor is a cheater. I mean, Brady's a cheater. That's my bad. That was totally on me. Who you picking, bud?
I'm thinking about it, man. I'm just going with this kid.
Brian Gibson, is he already on the block?
No, he's going to be all right. He's kind of got a little Kiki Kuti feeling to him. I got to start planning for post-TY, and I don't have picks next year, so I decided, let's just go with it now before I get stuck with somebody else, and he's not terrible.
Let's take a look. Bomber, you can see it in the email, but let's take a look at where the Jacksonville Jaguars went as I make my pick. They went right tackle, 68 overall, 91 strength, 80 run block, 79 pass block. See those numbers, you'd think, man, 68 seems low. And then you look at that 63 awareness. They better have a great center to replace that awareness number.
Yeah, absolutely. You lose something like that. You lose that kind of awareness off the bat. You got to have a center that's coming in there and boosting this guy up, which can pay a lot of dividends. And the crazy part is, every time I've been in that situation where I had a guy that I could play because of that, it's just really funny that the center usually goes down. And then you're like, oh, gosh, that guy's trash again. What am I going to do?
All right. That's a safety. Oh, boy. Oh, this will be interesting.
Wolfpack, NC State, 67 ain't. I mean, that's what I started with some of these guys. It ain't terrible. What's his age?
He's gonna be billed. He's 24.
26. 24. Oh yeah.
But we needed a
Older.
safety. 91 speed, 87 XL, and shout out to Gronk, 69 zone coverage. Ooh, that
There we
57
go.
play rec. That's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a little bit of fun on the back end of our defense right now. Cool. 57 play rec, 68 awareness. That's just tasty. But we're good. 90 stamina. He's going to be on the field. Oh. Well, that's really annoying.
Is that my sound?
No,
Oh, I didn't know if you heard that.
I didn't hear anything. I've just got this hold A to reorder stuck in the middle of my screen. Hold on, let's see if I can make it away. Nope, that's just going to stay there. Top notch. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm just going to crawl under my desk. Ha ha! Got it! That's called troubleshooting. Beautiful. You just got to go into your draft board and then move around. Anyways, as we continue onwards, like seriously, those graphical things just bug the bejesus out of me. As we head to the third round of the MBL rookie draft, just past 8 o'clock, we got that Troy Polamalu giveaway. It's going to be going, we'll do that about 8:30 or so Eastern time. Drops are active until 9 o'clock. No, it's not just hold out. You just got to go in there. I know I'm a genius. Thank you, Nemo. I appreciate that.
The hunk.
The Hunk Squad.
All right, who's drafted the worst so far? Who have we seen that's been terrible in the draft?
Isolated.
Unisolated drafted 50 in the second round. Someone drafted 50 in the first round. The Bills, who we've been really high on. So,
well, that should teach us.
there.
That should teach us never to trust dupes. Try to see if I got the Bills on here somewhere. There they are. Let's take a look at that Bills offseason. They didn't do anything. Not a darn thing. 16-16 in the NBL, 9-7 last season in a tough AFC East. But I think that number's going to go down because they face a much tougher schedule this year. But yeah, they didn't do anything in the offseason. And Bomber, then they went and got a 50 overall running back. Not a stamp of approval from, well, anybody.
Yeah, it definitely is a team that's been a little quiet. So you expect a big draft. You're excited, and halfback was the last position I think I'd expect them to draft because they had so much success.
It was a
last year.
forfeited pick. Okay. Cool.
Okay, there we go. That makes sense.
So then it is unisolated because he traded away his first-round pick and then took a chance on a center that was 50 overall. Right?
Took a chance on us. There's actually some pretty good linemen out there. That's crazy.
67 and 54 overall in the second. Yep. Thorpe says mine was bad, 95 speed though. October says bad to old school cheese this corner. Big shout out to Katie said with the tier 1 sub. Appreciate it, my friend. I gotta get something going. Hold on, let me pull up some music. I'm dying over here with nothing in my ear. There we go. Some sweet royalty-free EDM. Drops are active until 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Let's pull up the quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks actually had, the little quarterback class where it tells you that Darce did, and it tells you who they are comparing them to? Let's see what the comparisons were for these quarterbacks, because this was kind of it wasn't the greatest quarterback class. So I'm interested to see what the comparisons were. Are we talking Joe Montana's here, or are they gonna?
Matt Dye, the guy who the Detroit Lions selected at 70 overall,
Hasselbeck.
Peyton Manning.
No, that is a friendly comparison.
Footwork could use some polishing. Does not look natural on deep drops. Not a burner by any means, but has enough functional movement to get outside the pocket.
So basically, just the speed and athleticism of Peyton Manning, but more of the skill set of a Brad Johnson, maybe.
Trent Oldenburg comparison, Dan Marino. Wow, we've got some big comparisons here.
I gotta jump on that team and do the comparisons from these guys.
Whoa. Time out. Strong, authoritative runner with the speed to hit a big play with his feet. Two-way threat in the red zone. Posted 18 rushing touchdowns over 2 seasons. Dan Marino?
Dan Marino, yeah.
You sure you don't mean like Don Marino, his more athletic brother? I would not go with Dan there. Leonard Barlow, comparison Donovan McNabb.
What Redskins McNabb, though?
And which McNabb are we talking about? Like, knows all the rules of overtime McNabb? Long-term durability could become a concern without continued strength gains. That is McNabb. Okay, sure. That's all we got. So weak quarterback class. October's talking about it. We have yet, 2 rookie drafts, but no real strong quarterback classes yet.
Well, one of them's going to probably have a superstar dev. You just got to find them, right?
Just gotta pick and play.
You got to look for the, who was the guy that we used to do the Russian voice for?
Oh, the Voboro.
Voboro.
It's their Voboro.
Yeah, man, that poor guy, dude. He came in at 21, was on a roster till free agency. Somebody signed him, and the minute that he didn't get picked up when they were done with the Voboro gimmick, he was deleted from the game.
So that would be Sklam. Sklam loved the Voboro. Super Finn J says Dan was a gunslinger. Yeah. But Fine says Dan slower than my grandma and she dead. So what you're saying is Dan Marino is not an athletic quarterback like this guy who is known as a runner with 17 rushing touchdowns. Let me know in the chat, guys. It's a great question. Let me know what you guys are looking for in what cards you'd like to see, because Troy Polamalu getting added in the MUT 10 was a big deal. Bomber, this is a guy who said he was done with football. There's a lot of questions to whether he'd ever be back in the game. The guys over at EA did a great job getting that done, and Polamalu back in the game. So what players are people looking for? What are you looking for, Bomber? Are there any players that you would love to be able to have on your team that you haven't seen yet?
The NCAA debate is drawing back up.
Woo!
And, someone started talking about the NCAA.
Let's go!
Someone started talking about the NCAA Ultimate Team, right? And that was kind of cool because there was so many guys that had really phenomenal, like the Reggie Bushes. I think Problem was the one that talked about it. There were so many guys that had like crazy college careers, maybe didn't quite pan out, but you
every
have that love
Florida
in your heart.
State player ever.
Yeah,
Peter Warwick.
So NFL, I feel like they've kind of gotten everybody at some point in the game, or that's had a good season here or there, or good week. that we all remember. I feel like they're kind of just, you know, they're hitting everybody. But the NCAA one really was something that I looked at and I was like, man, that is something that we haven't really seen, because there's a lot of players there that you can look at. Even a Tim Tebow card would be, you know, much different and a different feel and much more, you'd understand it a little bit more, coming from the NCAA side. So even a Johnny Manziel, stuff like that could be pretty cool. In about 2 or 3 years, or whenever, you know, who knows?
Again, I think everyone needs to temper expectations. It's not happening now, but you're looking at a couple years. We might be able to see that coming back, and I think it would be interesting. There are a lot of people going, do we really want an ultimate team in NCAA? A lot of people saying that some of the joy of playing NCAA 14 is there isn't the microtransaction factor. It's just play the game. And, you know, on one level, I understand that. On another level, there's an aspect of Ultimate Team that I love, and it would be the ability to play with some of those legends who were great in college. And we saw the Vince Youngs in college be dominant. We saw Matt Leinart. We saw Troy Smith. I mean, there are a lot of great players that I think it'd be fun to play with. I get people get a little wonky when they start talking about, you know, Mutt and what that would turn into. And also, please don't call it Nut. Please don't call it NCAA Ultimate Team, because that's just Nut, and that's not good. We can't do that. Can't do that. Why is Fat heated? Okay. Porter in the chat says, yo, Fat is heated. Brad's CPU pick just took Fat's pick. The Frage is real. Oh, that's funny.
Rage in the building. He's been
Cade McNown. No, I don't like Nut Masters. No. We're not calling it Nut. 0 out of 10.
Well, a lot of people had a problem with Mutt, man. Maybe they'll come around to Nut. I don't know.
No.
Boss?
You can't come around to Nut. No. Reggie Wayne, people are looking for. Let's see.
Reggie Wayne, that's a good one.
Favre. Brett Favre would be cool.
Yeah, what does he want?
Steve Largent.
Brett Favre don't want to be on Mutt. He wants to be back in the NFL, I bet. he's probably, I'm coming in for the motion cap.
He's calling the Miami Dolphins going, are you really sure you don't need me? Because it sure looks like you do. Z-Star saying, bro, an MBL grid NCAA dynasty with imported draft classes. That would be cool. Archie Griffin in NCAA for sure. Work done. Willie Parker. I mean, a lot of great names. Victor Cruz. No one wants Gardner Minshew, Cougs. Just nobody. Nobody wants Minshew. No Minshew magic. Cougs sent me a screenshot of Jordan Whitaker, strong safety, future Cam Chancellor. Chances this is disappointing.
What's his hit power?
His hit power is 80.
That's a little low for a future Cam Chancellor.
89 speed, 88 excel, 75 zone, 71 tackle. He is hidden dev. Ranked 8th in true talent. He got him at 15. 21 years old from Alabama. 6'4", 202. Hidden dev makes him much more interesting. 78 awareness. Very good. 80 hit power. You gotta get that bad boy up if you're gonna compare him to Cam. He is a... Also, his archetype is zone. It's not run support, so... You know. Whatever.
Do you know who Cam Chancellor is here?
I don't think he's clear.
Confused? Yeah.
Branding Inc. says Brian Bosworth in Nut. Oh, God. God. It's so bad. All right, Fat, tell us your problems. He says he's so mad in chat. The Frage is real. Denard Robinson. The man who everybody at the University of Michigan...
I like Denard as a quarterback at Michigan. I thought he was all right. He was pretty electric to watch. I like Manziel. I liked Stafford, of course.
Stafford, obviously. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Let's take a look at what their offseason looked like. A little bit of a disappointing season for the Seahawks. This is a team looking to win their back-to-back division titles. 7-9 though, weren't able to do it. They bring in Justin Houston and Everson Griffin, so they really shore up that defensive line. And Bomber, in the NFC West, it is the Wild West. It is wide open because I really feel like that division, could all 4 teams have a chance to win a division title?
I think we always talk about that with the NFC West, and I completely agree. I think the Niners and the Rams are going to be getting a little bit better over the next couple seasons. We've already seen the Seahawks win and the Cardinals win. I think we could see the Niners come away with a division title, and you can't count out Serp in the NFC West. That's kind of been his MO,
thing,
right?
Yeah.
That's kind of his thing. Like winning, he's like, the minute that you can win that division at 8 games and go 8-8, that's when I'm going to win it. And I completely agree to that sentiment.
75, 84, and 1 in the MBL, 2 division titles. Be interesting to see where they go that year. And you look at that division, you talk about the Rams, they still got Aaron Donald. You talk about the Cardinals. I mean, it does sort of feel like a little bit of a change in the guard, because I was really impressed this last season, Bomber, at what the Arizona Cardinals did, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You do wonder what it looks like now that they're going to play a first place schedule, but it feels like the Cardinals may have a leg up on everybody else.
I completely agree, because they, while other teams might have been trying to build, this team was really essentially already kind of on the up and up. They had a lot of young talent. They're getting a lot better. Andy Isabella, Christian Kirk, Kyler Murray right there. You're kind of set at that skill position moving forward, and that's where you can get a lot of offensive production from. Now, if their defense can just get on board and they can get a little bit younger and a little bit get some young guys on the field and then kind of grow that thing. Maybe we could be looking at dominance here for the Cardinals, because, yeah, they are kind of a step ahead from the Los Angeles Rams as far as Madden franchise goes, and the Seattle Seahawks, because this is a team that's building. We're watching it in front of our eyes right now.
What's going on? Ohio, Sergeant Buckeye. What's good? How's it going, man? Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us. It is the MBL season 42 rookie draft as we work our way through nearing the end of the 3rd round. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to do that Troy Polamalu giveaway. We'll do that at 8:30. So in about 15 minutes, all you got to do to win that Mutt 10 Troy Polamalu, you got to be active in the chat. You got to be positive, force for good, and you just have to be following the channel. So click that heart button to follow. We're going to be back on Madden Live, by the way, next Monday night at 7 o'clock Eastern. Same time, same place. We're going to have more drops, more giveaways, and we're actually going to have some game action. It should be, let me do my math, might be week 2. Week 1 tends to be a quick advance, I think. Preseason 1, 2... 3, 4. I think it'll be week 2 action. It'll be our first MBL live of the season, and it may be, if I do my math right, the only MBL live in the month of November. So you're gonna want to tune in. We're gonna try to get as many games packed in there. We're gonna have a ton of we're gonna have the drops after. We're gonna have giveaways. And a big shout out to EA Madden NFL, Gabby and Agent K over there for making this possible and allowing the MBL Network to be a part of Madden Live. And make sure you you follow all your favorite channels, because the Madden Live schedule this month, it's not like it's a bunch of different people. I think everybody got 2 time slots, so you're gonna see a lot of different people with those drops, with those giveaways. So make sure you continue to support the Madden community as we head through the month of November, and make sure that you watch all the great Madden content that's coming out, not just from streamers online, but we have the club championships at twitch.tv/EAMaddenNFL. Of course, Friday Night Football each and every week at twitch.tv/MuttheadTV. Here, you talk about the great streamers around. You guys know them and love them. So there's a lot going on. Dark Avenger says, you're awesome, MBL. Appreciate you, Dark Avenger. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. NorCal Navy Mike in the chat. MBL Network, Madden crossplay. When? I don't know. It's a good question. And I said a timed out Project Fat. Good. Now, excuse me. Ty Stack saying, love some Friday Night Football. How about that new studio that they debuted? I am so excited to get back down to Huntsville and play around in the new studio.
Tell us, put it in context here. Tell us what y'all were calling the game in.
Well, what we were calling the game in was a closet.
With a couple fans, keep the air circulating.
One fan, because you can't put a bunch of fans with a bunch of microphones.
Yeah.
So we had one fan, we were in a closet, and then we got moved from there into an actual room with our equipment, and then in the last couple of weeks, shout out to Cody, aka Rockets, and everybody over at Mudhead and Fandom for they put up a big LED light wall, new desk, new overlay. It looks phenomenal, and can't wait. It's gonna be great. Hockey Nut 1977 says, I hope today's announcement brings NCAA football back. I think do you think there's anyone out there who's like, you know what, we're good, we don't need NCAA football back?
Yeah, probably maximum football, I would say. The guys who just developed the college thing, maybe them. But how I'm gonna think anybody. I mean, are you that angry with the world? You don't want it?
It just seems like there's just nobody who'd be like, I really don't feel like college. I mean, and a big shout out to the guys
No,
who
they're like,
built the game.
college. I hated
Ow!
college, man.
School.
I bullied in college, maybe, or something.
I mean, I gotta
don't
go
know.
to class.
Everybody has some kind of and plus the college football recruiting is so unique to sports. It's not a professional style setting, right? So it's not the same kind of thing we're used to here. I know if we do get it, MBL will be using it and with grid, and we'll run through and we'll get some, draft classes done, and we'll know all the storylines, and we'll actually have stats and all this stuff from players. It'll really connect the immersion experience as well for those playing franchise mode with Madden. And the game usually comes out, I believe it used to come out like a couple months earlier. So
yeah,
it's really like a cool game. I always enjoyed NCAA. I thought it was fun, and it's cool to see that it has an opportunity. I mean, we're obviously just speculating here. It has an opportunity to kind of make its way back.
Hey, don't miss your pick.
Yeah, I almost did here.
Brad asked if he gets the Gators. Absolutely not. The recruiting in Dynasty mode was awesome. I agree, Big Fudge. It was a great game. I absolutely love it. I think that's why people still play it, because that tells you the longevity of it when it's a game that, the game came out in 2013 and people are still playing it. All right, I guess I'm going to make my pick. I don't care anymore. We're in the third round, so y'all can see what I do. Let's take a look at some of those grades. 2 people still on the draft board. Let's go.
I got a few more than that on my draft board. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I mean, if I really look at these guys, I'm probably more like, wait, why were these guys on my draft board to begin?
I made it was a lot of quick draft boarding. I wasn't doing it that seriously. You go fullback? Thinking fullback? Only 8 reps on the bench press? Really, bro? Really? Yeah, we'll take him. Screw it. Why not?
Well, he didn't know. He
Ah,
told
it's a reach! I was 93. He was 96 in talent. I suck.
Hey, he didn't know you were supposed to max out. He was
Just
like, yeah, I
did
did
it.
like 8, and they were just staring at me, so I just racked it. Oh, all right.
92, 93, speed excel. Okay. I wasn't gonna, I thought about taking the linebacker, but I don't need another run support linebacker right now. He just wouldn't have played. 69 short, 65 mid, 72 deep. Let's
The
go.
outside linebacker you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really, really, really slow.
35 stiff arm. Anyone juke move? Okay. He's all right. He's fine. 3rd round pick, 65. Yeah, that's the other thing. He's got to temper expectations. But I like 92, 93 speed excel in 3rd round. But let's remember,
I like it a
reach.
lot. What's
Look
his
at
size?
6 foot 179. He's a small
Oh, that's
guy.
good. Yeah, but I mean, the 6 foot. I mean, that's nice stride there.
Josh Hickman out of Kentucky. Swag King, do you have the list of streamers with drops this week? I might. Hold on. It hasn't been released. But I can tell you who is going to be on it. 1 second. Let me find that. This week, tomorrow is K-Mac. That time's to be determined. He might be doing the 11 o'clock right after Good Morning Madden. Might be doing it at 7. So follow K-Mac on Twitch. And then Thursday at 11 a.m., it's going to be Popular Stranger. At 8 p.m., it's going to be C-Ball and Gaming. And then Friday, 11 a.m., is going to be Boogs. 7 p.m. is going to be AZ Rhino. And then Sunday at 10 a.m., it's going to be AZ Rhino once again. So there's your list for this week. Check them out. Make sure you support all the Madden streamers, because the more the Madden streaming community gets supported, I think the better it is for everybody.
Absolutely.
Astros just hit back-to-back. Any giveaways still out
Bros, baby.
Yes.
Let's go Texas, baby.
You know you're a big baseball fan, right?
Do my Eric G. What's the Eric G sound again?
Bum bum dum bum 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 bum.
Fella, know my math homework. Shout out to Eric G. Remedial math in at his community college is getting real tough for him. He posts like equations on the board in the MBL chat, and it's real simple stuff like, you know, just something with parentheses. Obviously, you do that first, right? And I'm like, Eric, the answer is 2. And he's like, man, how do you know? He thinks I'm Einstein or something, but he's just really, really bad at math. And you want to know what his major is?
I'm gonna guess.
Can you guess?
Kinesiology.
It's mathematics. Be a math teacher.
What are you gonna do? Okay.
I said, what level are you teaching? Like kindergarten math here? Because anything more than that, they might be teaching you something. They're like, Mr. Greco, no, I think
1 + 1 3, everybody. 3 tres. Bum bum dum bum 2. Not 2, it's 3. We do have.
He grades somebody's homework. They're like, yo, this is a 95 paper, dude. Look, that's right. You had that marked that wrong. Oh, it is right.
Oh, whoops. We do have more giveaways. We got that Troy Polamalu Mutt 10 card. We'll be giving that away around 8:30 or so. As we work our way, we're into round number 4. Boy, Bobby, you remember when it used to take us 3 hours to get through the first round?
Yeah, when we used to make everybody hold and we do all the live. We did it live, but we just did it in a different way.
But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Let's take a look at some more of these team cards. See how their off seasons went. Let's talk about those Chicago Bears that Draco said they're having a bad draft. Take a look at what they did in the offseason. No more Mitch Trubisky. I really didn't like Mitch. But
yeah, this is kind of a rebuilding team. This is a team that almost shipped Tariq Cohen a couple times and ended up pulling the plug at the very end. So they're really kind of falling apart in the sense of they're just rebuilding everything. They got some talented players that they're looking at moving on. They're trying to build defense first. This is a team that finished 11th in defense last year, 18 points per game allowed. They were 15th against the rush, so I expect them to try to shore that up in this draft. But yeah, this is a team, you know, no Mitch Trubisky. Tariq Cohen, how do you think he's feeling with his name shopped around? Allen Robinson's name was shopped around last year. So I'm just looking at this team, and Robinson now is San Francisco 49er.
And how do you think Tariq Cohen feels that the Chicago Bears brought in James Conner at halfback? They also brought in Jordan Reed from the Washington Redskins, Ryan Switzer at wide receiver, so some offensive makeovers. But who's going to be the quarterback on that team?
Well, that's what we're all wondering right now. What the Chicago Bears are actually going to do week 1. We're talking week 1 starters. We talked about the Chargers. That's a team also with some quarterback issues. They just constantly bouncing around. They signed Jimmy Garoppolo, give him a big deal. Trubisky leaves, and the backup plan is what? I mean, we got Nick Mullins starting there right now. He looks to be the starter, but the Bears are just kind of in limbo here as they struck out in free agency on offers on Matt Stafford. He didn't end up signing with the Chicago Bears. So you look at these team like the Chicago Bears and you just wonder, okay, are we really going to go Nick Mullins here? What's the plan? And I think the front office has a lot of questions that need to be answered to really appease this fan base.
And I mean, again, this Bears team, they're always going to be led by that defense. Khalil Mack, an absolute force at linebacker. They're always going to be a defensive first team as they draft a fullback there in the 4th round, Craig Goodman. But at some point, I think what we saw from the Bears this year was what we had always thought about this Bears team, which is, all right, you can get the sacks, you can create some havoc in the backfield, but man, can you put any points on the board? And in many of those games, we saw them on NBL Live, losing games 17-10, 10-7. I mean, at some point, the offense has to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Stafford signs a 1-year, $4.7 million deal with the Los Angeles Rams. I think it was matched by the Bears, and he decides to go to the Rams, realizing, I mean, you play the Bears twice a season, you start to realize one thing.
My apologies. Sorry, my apologies. It's a hidden dev fullback.
Oh. How do you game prep fullback? I don't even think this is worth it at a fullback.
I forget if fullbacks are looped in with halfbacks or if they're looped in with offensive linemen. Could be wrong. But
maybe tight ends.
Could be tight ends.
And Mitch Trubisky signs a 4-year, $49 million deal with the Detroit Lions, and then they end up drafting Dye. So this whole NFC North is kind of in disarray. Aaron Rodgers, how much time does he have left? We don't know. And the Minnesota Vikings, obviously they drafted a rookie last year, an MBL Season 41 rookie draft. So a lot of changing of the guard there in the NFC North. But yeah, what are the Bears going to do? I mean, what do you scout? Who's going to be in that free agency who didn't sign? That's going to be available preseason week 1.
And you question, okay, so you look at that NFC North, and we can actually just show you. Let me zoom in here. You look at the NFC North. The Packers coming off another division title. The Minnesota Vikings at 10-6. The Bears at 7-9. The Lions at 4-12. It's starting to feel like as long as Aaron Rodgers continues to be mildly effective, the Packers have a stranglehold on this division, because the Lions, I don't see them making a big improvement. They're still trying to build that team, get enough talent there. The Bears are definitely going to take a step back as they move into a rebuild. And the Minnesota Vikings, the problem with the Vikings is, did they do anything this offseason? And the other problem is, they haven't been able to beat the Green Bay Packers yet. The Packers have had their number to keep a hold of that division.
Yeah, the Vikings bring in one big signing this offseason, and that was, I believe, cornerback Richard Sherman. He makes going to make close to $15 million in this contract, with just a 1-year, one-off deal. Came from San Francisco, obviously 34 years old, 84 speed at the time.
Here is the Vikings offseason. They bring in Richard Sherman. They bring in the kicker Brett Maher. They bring in Austin Traylor, 29-19 for Game Master, 10-6 last year. But I mean, does this Vikings team have enough to beat the Green Bay Packers, a team that's really been the claw in their teeth?
I don't know this year. I don't think so. It's all going to depend on the development at the quarterback position for the Minnesota Vikings. But the Minnesota Vikings are also second guessing, kind of sidestepping here. What names have we seen on the block for the Minnesota Vikings this offseason? Stephon Diggs' name came up as he can be had. They aggressively pursued a trade partner for Adam Thielen. And you look at Adam Thielen at the wide receiver position, obviously superstar X factor, but aging, 31 years old. Diggs is 27. But these are two guys that were staples of this offense, and you bring in a guy like Emmett Dwyer, you sign him 78 overall, star dev out of North Dakota State. He was their first-round pick last year, and he's a solid quarterback for this team, 95 throw power. Why would you be interested in taking his weapons away? Well, the Minnesota Vikings are trying to get a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball, and like you said, when the Green Bay Packers are steamrolling the division, it starts making owners second guess where their direction is for their team, and now they're trying to match up against these Green Bay Packers rather than, trying to build the best roster they can build.
I'm sorry, I forgot that schedules were released. I just saw the back half of my schedule.
You play me?
Last 4 weeks of the schedule: Falcons, Eagles, Chiefs, Panthers. GG's in the chat. On the plus side, first week, Raiders.
I got Patriots week 1. Let's go. The Tom Brady-less Patriots.
I'd say 32. Give me a 1 in the chat if you want that Troy Polamalu. Just so we can get Nightbot fully populated. Throw that ones up there if you want that Troy Polamalu. Drops are active until 9 o'clock. As we are in the 4th round of the MBL Season 42 Rookie Draft. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Nick Mazesco, your MBL Network Director. Joined as always by the Commissioner of the MBL. It is Bomber. And don't forget, we got Madden Live again coming up next Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, right here, twitch.tv/MBL Network. Nailed it. I'm so good at this game. VTEL guess why y'all typing 1, bro? Turn your volume up. I said type 1 if you want that Troy. Because we need to get the Nightbot populated. We gotta see how many people want this. Make sure Nightbot's working. It is. It's a populating real good. From what you've seen, Bomber, is there a team that you have seen from what they've done tonight that you are most interested, whether it is in a positive way or in a negative way, most interested to see their season 42?
The Indianapolis Colts. I didn't like their first pick. They went with a 72 overall defensive end. They claimed the Oakland Raiders stole their pick, so they still went DN, and it didn't work out for them, right? And then on top of that, I'm really interested to see what this Andrew Luck deal is going to be, what they're getting in return, because if they do trade Andrew Luck and they don't get a quarterback back in return, or they have no plan on a quarterback, they're going to be rolling with Tyrod Taylor. And based upon some of the media outlets, specifically with the Indianapolis Colts, I've seen a lot of Tyrod Taylor big old faces showing up as avatars right now. And if I'm a Colts fan, I'm concerned. I'm probably starting hashtag please don't trade Luck, because I wouldn't want to get stuck with Tyrod Taylor, especially after what he did with the Los Angeles Chargers last season.
Guys, reminder to win the giveaway for the Troy Polamalu, you just gotta be following the channel. Hit that heart button right at the top to make sure you are following. Because if I draw you and you're not following, unfortunately you don't win. You just gotta be positive in the chat and be active, and let's roll it right now. Who's getting that Troy Polamalu? How about B-Dog617? Congratulations, you got that Troy Polamalu. I'm gonna whisper you. You have 5 minutes to claim it. Make sure you check your whispers and respond. All right, he's got 5 minutes to claim. As we're in round number 4 now, working through the season 42 MBL rookie draft. Yes, we are. If it's your first time joining us, first we appreciate you hanging out with the MBL Network. We are full 32-man franchise mode. We do live broadcasts here on twitch.tv/MBL Network. It's not all drafts, we swear. I know the drafts are kind of slow in plotting, but we've got full game action. Last season, I think we broadcasted even though we didn't have as many broadcasts we've ever had, I think we broadcasted the most number of games ever, because we had 4 to 5 games going each and every broadcast, flipping between them red zone style. So it was a lot of fun. We intend on continuing to do that this season and the season forward. And Bomber, tell people about not just what's new going on with building the franchise, but what building the franchise is.
All right, Building the Franchise is a series we have here on the MBL Network, here on Twitch. We follow a new team every season, as we talked about earlier, 40 to 45 days in real lifetime. That's a season in the MBL. We do 7 seasons per Madden cycle. So in Madden 20, we've already covered 2 teams so far. We covered the Baltimore Ravens and the lowly Los Angeles Rams. And this year we're doing something special for building the franchise. We're going to be following, instead of just one team that we focus on new, probably 5 to 7 episodes, we're going to be focusing on an entire division. And during that division, we'll have episodes every weekend here on Twitch. It'll be Saturday or Sunday. You can follow us at MBL Network, at Bomber League, for information on upcoming episodes of Building the Franchise, the weekly show. And basically, we're going to be following this division, covering every single team, every storyline, and then as the season progresses and the cream kind of rises to the top, we'll be following those teams into the playoffs, and it should make for some fun excitement here in the Building the Franchise series, as we do have a Super Bowl champion of a Carolina Panther team. We got the Atlanta Falcons, who won the division the first year. They went to the Super Bowl in MBL season 41, which was the first season of this Madden 20. So a lot of positive stuff, and as we said, the Bucs just had the first pick in the rookie draft, and the Saints have a lot of talent. Well, what can happen? We'll find out. Stay tuned.
You can find all of those broadcasts. Most of them they're all gonna be on Twitch this year.
They've all been on Twitch the last couple years. So yeah, we're gonna continue that trend. Yeah, if we got a little bit of time, we can go check out player regression. I know you got a pick coming up, but I thought we could dive into that a little bit, since we're gonna be running here for another 20 minutes, right?
Take a look at and remember, B-Dog617. Check your whispers from MBL Network. You have until 8:41 to claim it. Otherwise, we'll put those rerolls in the chat. We'll spin another winner.
We can start with the Bears and just kind of roll down and see who had like kind of the worst progression at the age, and roll that way. Kind of talk about these teams a little bit.
Starting with the Bears, as we look through how long, I mean, not a lot. 4, 5, 4. I mean, when you're looking at players, they really didn't lose a whole lot at all regression-wise.
Yeah, not much regression there for the Chicago
You got to be
Bears.
real happy about that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a team that, you know, had some players. They did lose, obviously, Allen Robinson, but you look at Clinton Dix turned 28. He lost a little bit. Taylor Gabriel loses 9. I believe some speed came off of him as he hits 30 years old, but he's still 93 speed, 94 excel, 90 agility. I think the Bengals got hit kind of hard here. Obviously, some older players, and they didn't have much success. Geno Atkins, AJ Green, 2 guys that hit 20. I always think when you hit 30 attribute points, that's a hard regression. Anything 10 and under is kind of a soft, and then 10 to 20-ish, I consider
The beginning of the downturn, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a normal, you know, it's 10, but anything 30 and more is a pretty hard regression. You got to keep your eye out for that.
And we've heard the Bengals trying to shop Geno Atkins, trying to shop maybe AJ Green, but unfortunately, once you've gotten to this point, like...
Yeah, once I see you getting close to 30 on the regressions, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's already an 87 overall. He's losing some of his abilities too, right? Because they unlock at 85 and 90,
Woo!
right?
John Brown!
The speedy...
43!
Yeah, he's about done.
Porter, it's GTB. Yeah, look at those 2 wide receivers, John Brown and Cole Beasley. A combined 82 points of regression. Whew.
What team is that? Oh, that's the Buffalo Bills.
They've got a lot of old players. 13, 11, 13. 22 for Josh Gordon. I mean...
But see, even Micah Hyde at 30, he's still a viable free safety for this team. But you're seeing a lot of guys 10 to 20. I like to see him. Josh Gordon 22. Those are big. That's big for Josh Gordon, man. This is probably his last kind of viable year here in the MBL.
Poor Emmanuel Sanders.
What did he end up losing?
55.
Oh, yeah.
His
What's
catching
age?
went down 11. Did he lose his hands? Big shout out to
maybe.
Champion Ball 5 of the host. God, 9 points in juke, 6 in spin. I mean, it's a hard regression. Kareem Jackson lost 18. Von Miller, 11, and that's an X factor. And, you know, that's going to stave off regression a little bit, but Von Miller's making a lot of money. And
He's making a lot of money,
contract?
but only losing 11 at, what is he, 33 now? I mean, that's not too bad.
What's his contract, though?
They're probably making about 25. Let me check it out real
Yeah,
quick. Let me see
this is
what
the last year of his contract. He's making 22.1 in 2021.
Yep, and he's still 92 overall. So the X factors really hold on to their.
Oh, look at that timing as we get back in its bomber's pick. We'll keep looking
Yeah.
through the regression. Jack Jolly, how do you check whispers? If you're on mobile, it's the top right corner, if I believe. Let me confirm. As I look on Twitch mobile.
Your picks up right now.
Cool. Yeah, so if you're on mobile, you go to the top right corner. It's the little message box. If you're on desktop, you just click the crown at the bottom of the screen. If you got those dice emotes, put them in the chat. If you want to reroll, give me a reroll because B-Dog did not claim his prize. So we're going to be rerolling that after I make my pick.
Ooh.
Oh, God, I'm under the clock. 36 seconds. Damn. Hell yeah. Chandler Hollenbach. I didn't even scroll, to be honest.
But he ain't no holla.
Batgirl.
Yeah, there you go.
94 in true value. Drive him 125. What's his speed? 83 speed, 84 excel. Okay. Yeah, that's Nightbot. I think you can only do 3 emotes. All right. B-Dog didn't want it, so we re-roll that Troy Polamalu. How about Biff Malibu 34? Check your whispers. You got 5 minutes to claim. I'll be sending them in just a second. Hold on. Don't check it yet. I'm getting there. All right, Biff Malibu, you have till 8:49 to claim. That's Biff Malibu, 34. Let's go back. We got time now, so let's go back and look at regression. So where were we?
I believe we're at the Broncos. You were looking at Von Miller, so we should be at the Browns now. Jarvis Landry kind of took a little bit of a hit there at just 28. Makes you think, man, what's he going to take at 29-30? Already a guy kind of on the fringe athleticism-wise, right? 89 speed, 91. He lost 15. He lost some after-the-catch stuff. Juke move, spin move.
That does concern you. For
elusiveness.
A guy who,
I mean, that's his MO, right?
Well, the problem is he's not a guy who... He's not a guy who is known for being able to create a ton of separation. He's sort of that middle athleticism. You know, he needs as much as he can get.
You look at Tonio. He didn't lose too much. Only 6. Linemen really seem like they hang on a little bit more, especially if they have the dev traits. You're going to notice that they're going to hang on at Superstar or X Factor a little bit more. And even Star, I mean, you see him going to 30-31. It's kind of softer progression for them.
As we go to the Buccaneers, a team that top 2 picks in the draft.
Well, 2 with the top 3.
Lavonte David lost 23 points. That's all I had. He only had 3 people that regressed. Lord.
He's a young team. I mean, this is talking about a 1-15 team. They're not too old there.
For the Cardinals, DJ Swearinger losing 18 points.
Oh, they're losing a lot here.
Woo, Gilbert. I always thought the Cardinals were a young team, but Gilbert Jones lost 18. Bird 16. Eifert. Oh God.
Definitely older on the line and in
both
the
their corners
defensive side of the ball.
Biff Malibu did claim his prize, so congrats to Biff Malibu and E-Ball Stars. You got your cards. I'll be submitting those tonight. You should see them, I believe they say within 48 hours. We'll be live until 9 o'clock, in which case we'll go find something. I think we'll probably raid Country Girl.
Is that who we're raiding? I'll shoot her a DM and let her.
Yeah, she's on
let her know
right now.
So she doesn't. You know, sometimes you raid people and they just disappear.
Right. Looking at the Chargers, Melvin Ingram lost 20 points. Casey Hayward lose 19, but all in all, they still got some youth there, of course, with Derwin James. Russell Okung's 32. He only lost 12 points, so certainly still very viable. Looking at the Kansas City Chiefs, not a ton there. Ross Cockrell loses 19. Matthew loses 10 at 29. That's a little concerning, losing 4 awareness, 2 press, losing a 1 in zone coverage. That's, you get concerned when you see 29-year-olds taking those sort of hits.
Yeah, who was it?
Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah, and he was such an integral part of the Chiefs. They were using him as a slot corner, man. You saw him moving around. I know he was on TY when we were playing. He did a phenomenal job. But yeah, you look at the -4 awareness, 87 to 83. To me, that's a kind of a big, kind of loss there. But still, I still think he's a quality safety on this team. He's got the athleticism, the ability to play all around the field, 91 speed, 92 excel. So, I mean, he's still going to produce for this team and still be a great player at 86. And Lip really is just finding a way how to use his guys. His defense is much improved.
Maximus, can you show progression? There's not a page to look at progression. You got to go into individual players. Costanzo on the Colts lost 22. Gerald McCoy loses 24. But you knew that when you signed Gerald McCoy that he's on the older side. Dallas Cowboys. Backup safety George Iloka takes a hit. Banoy and Goodwin. Goodwin won't hurt, but he's on the last year of a contract. He lost 1 speed in 97, so he's cut.
What are we talking about?
Marquise Goodwin.
Ebron already starting to lose a little bit.
Going to the Miami Dolphins. I thought that was the wide receiver Brandon Marshall.
What did Goodwin end up losing?
Like 14.
I'm looking at
30.
it now. Yeah, nothing too. I mean, you still see he's got high, deep route running and blazing speed. So he looks like he's probably got 2 seasons before, you know.
And in the last year of a deal.
So you're not bringing him back?
No, probably not. Would surprise me.
Yeah, you just don't know if he hits a 30, you know, he might lose his route running stuff and just essentially become Tavon Austin, right? But I mean, still viable player right now.
Looking at the Eagles, they lost a lot in a couple key players. Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey. That wide receiving core we always knew was pretty old in Philly.
Man, Ertz didn't lose anything, huh? Isn't he 30? Wow.
No.
X Factor hangs on for another year.
How about Des Trufant loses 19 for the Falcons?
That's a tough loss. As a start.
Matty Ice.
29, that's big. Down to a 79. That means he's lost his abilities. He only has 2 abilities left. You can click on his player card there, Nick.
Yeah.
And hit the LB, go to abilities there. You'll see now, obviously he's still playing with the +3 morale. That doesn't...
oh, yeah, but he loses...
He loses...
Wow.
You know, all he has left is Dashing Deadeye and Inside Deadeye, even though he has improved to X Factor. And I think you can't lose those 2. I think those are the 2 you...
I mean, if he drops low enough.
Yeah, and this was a guy that was a 90... he had got up to a 91, I believe. So he had 4 of the 5 unlocked.
49ers, not a whole lot. Giants, Golden Tate. Is he still Golden Great?
No, he's old and Tate, man.
I got him. Not a ton there. Jacksonville. A lot of bit players. Marquise Lee loses 18, but it's sort of a very even regression. AJ Boye loses 10 at age 30. Probably to be expected. You hate to see that awareness go down by 3. As we go to the New York Jets, Bananas want to know how the Jets did. Tremaine Johnson loses 23. Sort of to be expected at 31 years old. Robbie Anderson loses 9. But even they didn't take too much of a hit. Regression very... Yeah,
Tremaine Johnson's pretty much... He's nickel, goal, red zone, maybe corner right now. But even so, he's lost his awareness pretty much.
Sorry. Patrick Peterson, who the Lions traded for. He lost
minus 20. Yeah, 28, man, is probably... I said 30, right, as a hard regression, but 28, man, it's really devastating. I mean, he's already down to an 86. What was he, a 90? Almost an 89, 90 probably. Still 90 speed, 92 excel, 90 agility with 90 man coverage, 89 zone. I mean, this is still quality corner in the league. But yeah, you got to wonder next year.
What's his... let's see what his contract looks like. He only got 1 year left at $14.9 million. Definitely gonna get that veteran contract.
Kind of got paid the same as Sherm.
Green Bay, there's Aaron Rodgers. He's down to an 80. If he loses more points, he's gonna lose some of those abilities.
Yeah, I think he should have 3. Yeah, he does have 3. If you click on him, roaming Deadeye, pass lead, elite, dashing Deadeye. Still going to have those with Gambler, X Factor. But yeah, he loses 1 more. So next year, he's going to lose the roaming Deadeye. Definitely a regressing Aaron Rodgers.
Super Bowl champion Carolina Panthers. Can't escape the regression train, but not a whole lot there. Eric Reed loses 9. K1 Shirt loses 12. How about New England? Really only Marcus Cannon, huh? You forget that... the Patriots are much... Everybody thinks they're old with Edelman
Man, that
and
Cannon
Brady,
guy lost a lot. He was a solid player for him last year. Look at that. He was an 83 run block with a 77 pass block. I mean, that's a solid... He's a good starter. His strength was 92. He loses it now. He's a C-grade blocker. Still strong and still solid. I'm sure his awareness is still Still intact. He's sitting at 84.
Rams wide
wins.
receivers. Kupp loses 10. Robert Woods loses 19. How about Baltimore? Willie Snead, who is more of a free agent. Earl Thomas does lose 16, goes down to a 90 overall. Loses 4 in play rec, 4 in awareness.
Still has
Matthew
his
Judon.
abilities, though. So, I mean, the 90's not too bad because he's still got the pick artist if he would have went down.
I'm interested to know how, like, Matthew Judon had a really nice season, if I remember. He had 11 sacks, I believe, at outside linebacker, but at 29-year-old, he loses 12 points. He loses 2 speed. Interesting to see that he regressed so hard at 29.
What was it? What did he lose? Oh, 12. I like I said, 0 to 10. It's that dice roll. It's kind of soft. But yeah, you think with a productive year, maybe he doesn't hit that, but loses a little bit there. 6'2", 263, his 5th year. Lost 2 speed, 3 play rec, hit power.
Alex Smith lost 38, backup quarterback in Washington.
And he's still signed there because his cap penalty's still too high to push him
Still
over.
real high.
I mean, he hasn't played in
Fat
so long.
player,
His
Ben
awareness
Heaney.
is down. He doesn't even know what he's doing anymore.
Prince Amukamara loses 16. Bruce Irvin loses 21. But Randall Cobb, 35 points. Got out of Dallas just in time.
Yeah, he's on the decline in real life, too. I mean, we've been seeing that, though.
Ooh, Bobby Wagner loses 28.
Wow, that's a hard regression for an X-Factor player. Goes down to 96. Still a dominating middle linebacker. In a league that middle linebackers are tough to come by right now. But you see his block shedding goes from 92 to 87. His awareness goes from 99 to 94. Speeds down, loses some zone coverage from 86 to 84. Still solid player. I mean, I still ride him till the cows come home. And Jack Doyle.
There's Dez.
And Dez Bryant minus 36.
Dez Bryant still around. Steelers. Vince Williams. Ben Roethlisberger's the big one. 38 points down. It's why the Steelers really wanted to address the quarterback position. How about Houston? J.J. Watt loses 10.
Yeah, it's nothing. Soft for a 32-year-old
T.Y. Hilton
coming off 30
loses
sacks.
30 points.
Yeah, we kind of expected that. He's still a solid player. I mean, look at his player card. Look at his. Even though some of the ratings are going to be a little in flux because
The morale, but
of the morale.
Still
But I mean,
91,
89 with look at the agility, 94, solid slot player, and look at his route runnings. I mean, we're talking 90s across the board. Still a solid player, but yeah, next year probably going to take even more of a hit, and we're going to have that talk, about giving that number 13 to Mike Evans.
Tennessee, Kenny Vaccaro, the constantly on the move safety. Roger Saffold loses 24. That's a big loss for a team that's looking to keep that offensive line strong for Derrick Henry. Cordell Patterson loses 11. Just not a whole lot there. Vikings, Xavier Rhodes loses 22 points. Adam Thielen loses 19. Kyle Rudolph loses 19. Anthony Barr loses 12. Harrison Smith loses 30.
That's a hard regression right there.
Ndamukong Suh loses 35.
That's an X factor, Harrison
Brutal.
Smith at 32, man. Just really, still 89 overall. Still a solid player. But you got to think, one more knock to this, he's going to be pretty much kind of a shell of himself at this point, and Suh has been a shell of himself for quite a while.
All right, Bomber. Well, we only got three minutes left here on the stream. Papa C4,
Maybe play the
appreciate
BTF video one more
raid.
time.
I don't have that pulled up. C4, appreciate the raid with the party at 9, but we'll be taking those over to Country Girl. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Just final thoughts sort of on what you saw from the draft, maybe some highlights or teams that you're interested in. And
yeah, Country Girl's playing squads right now, guys. So if you're interested in squads, make sure you support her. Check it out. Give her a follow.
MBL's in the chat.
Yeah, give her a follow, man. Fun streaming, and if you like Must Squads, we're kind of been getting into Must Squads. We were going to play in one of her tournaments, but Porter actually had something going on that Saturday. Believe it or not, he just didn't want the pressure, man. He didn't want. I said, dude, we're going to be one and done, man. Let's just get on this and get out. But yeah, she runs tournaments as well, man. She does some pretty cool stuff. So man, check her out for sure. What were you saying before that?
Just final thoughts. Looking forward to season 42.
Yeah, 42 is going to be fun, man. Absolutely. It keeps on ticking. This will be third season of Madden 20. See if the Panthers can go for a repeat.
Where will New England go with no Tom Brady at the helm? Is this the opportunity for the Jets to take that division?
This is it. And the Sam Darnold, they were talking about moving him, and that trade fell through. So A lot of crazy stuff going around the MBL right now. A lot of storylines. You can follow us at Bomber League, at MBL Network. You'll notice some Bleacher Report stuff. We're leaders in full immersion gaming. If you want to join the MBL, go to 365.maddenbomberleague.com, and it's 365 because we go all year long.
Couple plugs before we get out of here. Raid Country Girl. Make sure you throw your MBLs in the chat, in Country Girl's chat. Make sure you hit that follow button. We're back on Madden Live. That's going to be Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, right here, twitch.tv/MBL Network. We'll have week 2 action of the Madden Bomber League. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you follow all our social media pages at MBL Network and at Bomber League for broadcast times, game times, announcements on teams. That's where you can find them. MBL Network, the home of the network on Twitter. Make sure you follow our Bleacher Report teams at MBLBR. What else do we have? We've got, drops are still active for another minute. If you like what you see here, make sure you head over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. All of our archives are MBL Live games. You can watch back the Super Bowl from season 41, as well as every MBL Live broadcast uploaded over to YouTube, youtube.com/Madden Bomber League. Make sure you tune in. When we got first BTF coming out?
BTF's going to be coming out this weekend. I haven't got the dates completely set right now, but let me look at it real quick. So this is going to be preseason week 1, 2, 3, 4, probably Sunday, and we'll do a week 1 game. That'll be Sunday, probably Sunday night. We'll do some NFC South. We'll probably have a couple games, maybe even do a back-to-back 2-hour episode. You'll get to know the roster. We'll show you the roster on the screen. We'll show you. It'll be a nice little ESPN-style presentation during their live games. We'll have live games, and we'll show you their entire team, their ups, their downs, and what we look forward to this season as well.
So that's going to be coming up Sunday. We're on Madden Live Monday night. And I got to give a couple big thank yous to Jamie, our lead graphics guy, for the new overlay here on the MBL Season 42 Rookie Draft. And big shout out to Darce Knight, who did those great cards, both for the teams and for the players. And big thanks to everybody in the MBL for sending in their cards. All right, it is 9 o'clock, so we are out of here. Stick with us. We're going to raid Country Girl. Let me just set that up. Set that up. So make sure you throw your MBLs in the chat. Let them know that we sent you guys over there. Supporting Madden streamers, continue to grow the Madden streaming community. We appreciate all you guys who tune in, whether you were just here for the drops and the giveaways, or maybe you saw something you liked. We appreciate it, because each and every time you guys show up makes our job a lot more fun. Hit that follow button so each and every time we go live, and we are out of here. For my co-host, the Commissioner Bomber, I am Nick Mazesco, your MBL Network Director. We will see you next time right here on the MBL Network.